Now we are moving on. Galen Buckwalter, who's the Chief Science Officer of SciML, is going to do a presentation on how AI can save democracy. I've chatted to Galen a couple of times, and my mind is always kind of explodes afterwards. So take it away.
Thank you. Will future historians look at the election of 2016 as a tipping point for American democracy? As a time when America's dirty underbelly of racism and misogyny and xenophobia coalesced into an unstoppable slide towards authoritarianism. Last year in a piece for Techonomy, we argued the financial stress that is epidemic among middle-class whites is resulting in a cognitive and emotional profile identical to what we see in PTSD. And as economic downsizing becomes more painful, we further hypothesize that the next step in this deterioration is an externalization of control and responsibility, leading to a desire for a strong man to make things right. After the election, a group of data geeks from The Economist found a shortened life expectancy, prevalence of obesity, diabetes, heavy drinking, and lack of physical exercise, when combined, outperformed the effect of being a non-college educated middle-aged white male, 43 to 41%, in predicting swing voters for Trump. All of these variables are chronic outcomes of stress, a condition for which evolution has left us completely unprepared, but which has become the hallmark of Western civilization. The full authoritarian mindset is one of aggrievement, avoidance, irresponsibility, poor self-esteem, and great anger. We apply an advanced model of chronic stress called allostatic load to see how, at this point, chronic stress chips away at individuals' pre-existing psychological vulnerabilities and chips away, in the current instance, turning a hardworking middle-class white American into an authoritarian ready to lock up the opposition. There are an overwhelming number of events associated with the election of Trump that suggest overt efforts to appeal to and manipulate the authoritarian mindset. Meet the Mercers, Robert and Rebecca, doing well off Dad's hedge fund, purported to be worth $45 billion, also reported to be Vladimir Putin's favorite money laundering machine. What they have created can fairly be described as the most effective disinformation system in America. Breitbart, Yiannopoulos, Bannon, they've all been the benefactor of the Mercers. These folks have pretty much single-handedly turned the neo-Nazi movement into the camera-ready alt-right. Mercer also funded Cambridge Analytica, which we'll talk about in a bit. As we've all heard, it was at this august conclave 1 year ago that Zuckerberg made his now infamous quote on fake news. In retrospect, I can only conclude he was either being overtly deceptive or grossly out of touch with his company. The truth is, the Trump campaign spent $70 million on Facebook ads. Most of these are thought to be dark posts. The Trump campaign's social media maven, Brad Parscale, used all the help from Facebook he could get to maximum advantage. They used the targeting capability of Facebook to address specific Black Americans, middle-class Democrats, to dampen their enthusiasm for Hillary while throwing nothing but raw red meat to their most ardent supporters. Cambridge Analytica also joined in with overt vitriol towards Hillary Clinton. Dark posts are for all intents unavailable for public viewing. We have some really good hackers on our team, and we got their donation ads, but we couldn't find their ads. So basically, America was and continues to be blanketed with political ads for which the sender has no accountability. Of course, this includes the Russians. To put it bluntly, the Russians ate our lunch during the 2016 election. They did a masterful job on Facebook, although Facebook continues to withhold any meaningful information. Russians also used YouTube like it was their own. In fact, the KGB-supported Network RT had Google's seal of approval as a premium advertiser until October of this year. And the Russians' brutally successful use of bots in spreading fake news seems to have taken Twitter by complete surprise. As the community that has created the battlefield and the rules of engagement for this war, can anyone point to a concerted effort to fight back that has come from the tech community? One of the reasons it's so difficult for the tech community to fight back is that on an individual psychological level, many of the basic engagement systems optimized by social media do much to prime those who begin with vulnerabilities to move towards authoritarianism. We all know from firsthand experience how masterful social media is in developing habitual behavior around its use. I think someone had said yesterday that it was a couple of thousand swipes a day on our phone. To do this, social media has systematically taken our dopaminergic reward system and separated it from human relationships, which evolution had designed it to optimize for. With this disconnection, fake news gives the hater a target, a poison container where they can further externalize their negative affect. Facebook supplies them with a reward system for their toxicity, garnering likes from other haters, while providing an ideal vehicle for affiliating with others who also externalize and hate. So now our most basic psychological reward system is optimized for susceptibility to a black and white, hate-filled, truth-free worldview. And I'm pretty sure the Russians get this. Without an effective and committed opposition, they will win. We argue that AI will be essential if technology, and even society in general, is to reverse this trend. AI does not have to be the stuff of Elon Musk's nightmares. There are a group of technologists who are developing tech products that can revamp social media into the antidote for authoritarian thinking by advancing such basic human values as self-understanding, self-growth, trust, relationships. In looking at our developmental model, sorry about this, my screen just went. Looking at this developmental model, we see opportunities to intervene with the development of an authoritarian mindset all along the stages. Recent advances in deep learning allow us to understand much about a person's psychological state from their interactions with social media. My colleague Dave Herman and I, along with our developers Grace G and Eugene Wang at SciML, have developed a suite of AI-based tools that interact with humans in personalized, dynamic, and relational manners. We are currently able to quantify such traits as personality, emotions, motivations, values, all from social speech and text. And we're working to do the same from images and social speech. Please feel free to get some time with Dave or I at breaks if you want to see some of our demos. Teaching machines to understand who we are is only half of the story. The next step is to optimize interactions among people to recognize and develop the best of humanity: gratitude, compassion, altruism, and the like. Neuroscience has recently demonstrated the values of these states to individuals' psychological and physical health. We call such systems empathy machines. We think about the science of empathy as being a communication system where the digital agents are actively engaged with us to improve our basic human qualities. One final word: I suspect I am not the only person here who looks back on last year and Mr. Zuckerberg's statement with a mixture of confusion, anger, and disappointment. Is this mentality of denial and short-sightedness and obfuscation why so many of us have spent our entire lives chasing our own tech dreams, to end up with one more monolithic corporation, seemingly incapable of valuing much beyond shareholder approval? We are better people. We must be. Thank you.